This is how to program your subconscious autopilot for success.
I'm Dane Spots, and my mission is to unleash the most powerful force in the universe, your mind. Meditation. Welcome to Zion. What is it? I'm Dane Spots.
You've heard the idea that our thoughts are things, and the way we think and what we think about shapes the reality we experience. But is that really true? Do our thoughts really help us create the reality we experience? And if that is true, is it possible to hack into that inner mind system and rewire it, changing our internal programming to make us into superstars of success, attract wealth and positive experiences like a magnet? Exactly how do we do that? Hack into our mind and rewire our subconscious autopilot to steer us toward a life of success. It's called Mindscripting. That's the term I coined in 1986 when I first started Zygon, to describe the process of rewiring the inner mind or subconscious to see the world in a different way, and more importantly, to adjust your inner mind scripts about how you see yourself, which has everything to do with your success or failure in life. This is not a new idea at all. In fact, this idea has been around for centuries. William James in the 1800s said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. Tell me what you think about, and I'll tell you who you are." And Napoleon Hill, a century later, said, "We're a mind with a body, not vice versa. We become what we think about most of the time." So the idea that our mind and our thoughts shape our reality isn't anything new. What's new is the technology of how you can access that system and re-script those subconscious recordings that are playing in a continuous loop in your inner mind, reminding you of your limitations and failures. I'm sure you've heard the idea of self-talk, standing in front of a mirror and telling yourself how great you are, or playing recordings of positive affirmations. When you listen to a motivational speech or go to a success seminar, you're riding on that energy for a day or so. You may be feeling great about yourself and your possibilities, but then in a very short time, things go back to the way they were. You have a negative self-reinforcing experience and you wonder why you're wasting your time with all this self-improvement nonsense. After all, you're just not smart enough, good looking enough, or just don't have the fortunes of good luck like other people do. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever the excuse may be, it's damning and it becomes recorded as a mind script that becomes etched into your subconscious. What's so insidious about this is those scripts play over and over like a loop in your mind. You know what I'm talking about. You hear them all the time. I can't do it. I can't do anything right. I'm not smart enough to get that job I want. I feel fat and ugly and don't even want to put myself out there only to get rejected. And so on. And guess what happens? Exactly what you told yourself will happen. You don't get the job, or the promotion, or the date. And then you may even stop trying and settle for way less in life than your true potential and what you really deserve. In fact, now you feel worse about even trying anything new, which ends up in a negative experience. Why does it work this way? Our minds are conditioned to see the world and reality in a certain way based on our beliefs and our experiences, which become self-reinforcing. How did this negative mind script get a hold of your life, and how can you change it? Well, let's go back in time for a minute. Remember as a child how many times you were told not to do something? Or you were scolded for being curious? Your parents, your siblings, your peers, all were part of shaping your mind scripts on how you saw the world and yourself. There may have been positive reinforcement too, but if you're like most people, it was more about shaping your thinking about what you couldn't do or were not supposed to do. This is how your beliefs are formed about yourself, and you grew up believing in certain self-limiting ideas about how to operate in the world and what you could or could not achieve. By the time you were 5 or 6 years old, a lot of these scripts were already locked in, playing over and over in your mind whenever you tried something new. That fun school project that you stepped up for and did something creative, were you praised and rewarded for it, or negatively reinforced? Psychologists say that our personalities are pretty much set in stone by the time you reach the age of 7. Imagine that every day of your life, up to the age of 7, you were told that you were loved and just how amazing and special you are, because you actually are amazing and special. But now you knew it to be so, to your toes. You were bathed in it. Imagine that was your experience growing up, experiencing a world like that of feeling totally safe, loved, and given constant positive reinforcement. How much different would your world be today? What if it's really that simple? What if there was a meta mind script that overrides all the negative experiences that you'll ever encounter in life moving forward, so that you don't even see them as negative reinforcing? They have no power over you because you know you're loved and amazing and special. Doesn't matter what anyone else even thinks, because it drips off you like water off a duck. So when that job promotion is granted to someone else, you don't say to yourself, I guess I'm not good enough and don't deserve it. Instead, you say, wow, I guess I'm meant for something even bigger and better. You trust the universe has your back because your life experiences have reinforced that belief. And so you move through life from one adventure to the next. Yes, you see your life as a series of adventures, not successes or failures. Again, it's because you know you're special and amazing. And this is what life delivers, a mirror image of your inner reality. Everyone calls you lucky because luck seems to follow you wherever you go. That's not a platitude. That really is how this process works. In a minute, I'm going to show you how, and how you can use this process of mind scripting to shape the life that you want. Listen, one incident doesn't create a mind script. It's the thousands of reinforcing experiences and the self-talk that accompanies it that becomes scripted in your subconscious and then gets reinforced by your experiences. You believe your reality on an inner level, and the universe and your choices make it so. That's just how the universe works. I'm sure you've heard the story of the baby elephant who was mind scripted by its trainers. You go to the circus and you see these incredibly large, strong animals, the largest land mammal on Earth, up to 15,000 pounds. Yet they're chained to a small post in the ground, and you wonder how it doesn't just pull that post out of the ground with a simple tug and run away. It would be nothing for it to do that. The reason it doesn't is because the elephant is completely unaware of its true strength and power. It's been trained to believe it's impossible to escape. How? At a very young age, the baby elephant had a similar chain attached to its leg. The only difference was it was bolted into cement, not just tied to a stake in the ground. No matter how hard the baby elephant tried to escape, it simply could not get away or break the chain, even though it tried for weeks. Eventually, one day, it gave up. The baby elephant realized that no matter how much effort in trying to get away, it simply did not have the power to do it. So it gave up. At that point, the baby elephant is trained. It's given up believing that it can escape the chain. Then when the baby elephant grows up and becomes an adult, it doesn't even try to rip the stake out of the ground, which it easily could. It's trained to believe there's no hope in doing so, so it doesn't even try. This magnificent beast is now restrained for life, chained up entirely by its own mind. So how do you break your personal restraints and become unchained by your beliefs? How do you reprogram your self-limiting mindset and create the reality that you want to experience? Well, there are two ways to do this. The first is the old, low-tech way, involving self-awareness, self-talk, and working through each negative experience to reframe it in a new way. This means using your conscious mind to recognize and deal with self-sabotage and negative feelings that result in that feedback loop that creates the negative mind script. It might involve inner child therapy or even hypnosis to get in touch with those aspects of your mind that you're not even aware of. A lot of work, years probably, and the effects may not be lasting. Why? Because you're dealing with the conscious mind only and trying to will the new you into being. And the old you will prevent you from doing that. Negative mind scripts invariably will creep back in and it all becomes self-reinforcing again. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is very difficult. The second method, which is why I started Zygon, is the mind scripting technology, or as it's become to be called over the years, the Zygon technology. What that is a way to bypass the conscious mind entirely and address the subconscious, or inner mind as I prefer to call it. How does it work? The breakthrough discovery I made 30 years ago was how to bypass the conscious mind and deliver programming directly into your inner mind. The inner mind programming through repetition eventually becomes the new mind script that you operate under. And as you get positive reinforcement from your environment, you begin to create a new reality. The world you experience starts to look and feel different because you now see it differently, and your experiences become self-reinforcing. Eventually, over time, the new mind script becomes a part of you. How significant a breakthrough is this? Well, if you realize that your only real limitation in life is self-imposed by your mind, and you now have a tool to rewire that and become your potential, I would say that's pretty significant. After all, it's only your life. When I use the phrase, it takes a new mind to see a new world and then create a new reality, that's what this means. You can't see what's even possible for yourself if you're automatically being held back by your old programming. In addition, our minds attract new opportunities, which present themselves to us daily. But if we can't even see them, how can we possibly realize them? The eyes can't see if the mind is blind. How long does it take to create this new mind? Well, even with accelerated Zygon methods, it's still not an overnight process. But it's up to you to work the programs and make an effort to reprogram or mind script your new mind. Remember, however old you are right now, it took you your entire life to create the encrusted mind scripts you currently operate under. Let's drill down for a minute on the practical aspects of this process. Let's say you're using Zygon's brain superchargers, which have this mind scripting technology built in. It may take several months of daily use to break through an encrusted mind script. Is it worth investing 28 minutes a day in your personal growth to create an optimum life? I guess that's a question you have to ask yourself. It's much like going to a gym every day and working on your body. The short-term side benefits are major reductions in stress and anxiety, and the underlying mind scripting is working on your self-limiting beliefs of how you see yourself and the world. It's a cumulative process, so you have to ask yourself if that is worth the time invested. I certainly think so, but it's a personal decision. And during the process, you may experience catharsis, and this is why journaling is so important. So on a conscious level, you can go back and see what's going on with the work you're doing on yourself. What is catharsis? Well, after a session, you might cry uncontrollably. You might experience anger and not even know where it comes from. You might have a flashback of something that happened to you in the past that you completely forgot about. Catharsis is the bringing of repressed ideas or experiences into your consciousness. It may feel unpleasant at first, but is actually necessary and part of the transformation process. Journaling gives you the ability to help process these ideas and give you perspective that's most valuable. I liken it to stirring the mud up on the bottom of a pond. The water may look clear until you start walking in it, and then it gets stirred up and cloudy. That's the process of stirring up all that subconscious muck hidden in your inner mind that's at the core of your mind scripts running your life. When you say we're stuck in life, a lot of that has to do with that process of clearing out that muck at the bottom of the pond. People can spend years in therapy doing just that. The Zygon technology accelerates the process. So, what is going on? What does it feel like to experience all this? Well, some experience feelings of euphoria right away, and even have what they call peak experiences and feelings of enlightened awareness. Others, it takes longer and go through cathartic moments like I just described. When you're doing a brain supercharger session, the sound frequencies are altering your mind state, putting you into what we call the theta zone. This is a relaxed but aware state of consciousness, much like dreaming, where you're the most receptive for psychological programming. Because the sounds meditate you, there's nothing that you have to do to get there, other than just let go and allow it to take you into the zone. That deeply meditative, relaxed state is what opens a doorway into your inner mind that I was talking about. A session is only 28 minutes long, and the side effects, in addition to deep relaxation, will stimulate ideas and dreams, and this is also useful and something you should put in your journal. And like the exercise metaphor that I used earlier, journaling allows you to track your progress. Just like going to the gym, I can't tell you how much different I feel day to day because the effects are cumulative. But over 30 or 60 days, I can, especially if I've kept a log of my progress. Like everything in life, you can expect to get out of this what you put into it. Doing a session every once in a while might be fun and relaxing, but it's not going to have any major impact on your life. Remember, the goal here is mind scripting, creating a new mind by clearing away that muck at the bottom of the pond and getting your inner mind properly aligned to see and experience a new reality. To get the benefits out of physical exercise, you have to dedicate the time to doing it and make it a part of your daily routine. This is very similar, like a workout for your mind. If you do this, I guarantee you'll see and feel changes in the world around you. What kind of changes? What should I expect? Well, after 30 years and over 1 million users so far, here's what we've learned. The technology works, as long as you work with it on a consistent basis, by bypassing the conscious mind and rescripting the subconscious autopilot that drives your behavior. 2, using these mind tools as an adjunct to positive action creates the reinforcement effect I talked about earlier. There is more positive self-expectancy, feelings of self-worth are elevated, and you feel more alive and centered. Achievement is always about doing, but this gives you that underlying support. 3, after 30 days of daily use, just one session and keeping a journal, you will feel a shift. It might be subtle initially, but you'll start to make connections and see yourself in a new, more empowered way. It's like you feel lighter with less stress. Give it 6 months of use, and it may become a whole new mindset and a way of operating your life. Everyone is different. There's no specific timetable, but there's no downside to using these tools other than investing the time. Over the years, I've been asked, if this is such wonderful stuff, why isn't everyone literally doing it? 2 reasons, I think. The first is it does require effort, and most people are lazy and simply don't want to invest the time improving themselves. Perhaps even more powerful is, at a fundamental level, people don't really want to change. They're comfortable in the rut they've created. It's easier to accept what you know than go for something outside that comfort zone. I see this all the time. That's why there are only a handful, a small percentage of people who are true mind warriors. Zygon's mission, and my personal quest that I've dedicated my life to, is to create tools that allow people to actualize their full potential as human beings. Mind warriors, we call them. And you are a mind warrior, or you'd never have listened this far. That makes you one of us, one of the pilgrim souls who will make a true difference in the world just by being you and adding your magnificence and uniqueness into the world. That special energy, that aliveness, call it your soul energy or higher consciousness that rubs off on everyone you come in contact with. You can't help but not affect others. You'll move through life with a different way of seeing. Your intuition will be tweaked, your relationships more vibrant and alive, your problem-solving skills enhanced, and that glow and childlike twinkle in your eye that says to the world, I'm here.